Hey, what's going on? Max here, and just want to bang out this video real quick. In between meetings, it's going to be a gold mine. This is going to save you a ton of time. And basically, what I want to talk about in this video here is the biggest shortcut to go from 0 to 30 to 50K per month from email revenue. I'm going to give you literal step-by-step instructions on how to do this. All right, so. If you're currently out there and you're an e-commerce owner, marketing manager, and you're thinking, oh, like email marketing is a priority, but I'll get to it at some point. I just don't have the time right now. You're gonna want to watch this video here because just watching this 5-minute video is gonna save you literal months, if not years, of time figuring this out. All right, so. Basically, if you're an e-commerce owner or a marketing manager who has too much on their plate currently, you're in charge of Google ads, Facebook ads, posting content to social media, whatever, then you're going to want to stick around and watch this video. And if you need email marketing set up, but you currently lack the knowledge to do so, you're telling yourself, oh, I'll just go on YouTube and learn it real quick. Then you're going to want to listen to what I have to say here. Or even if you just want to increase your store revenue, get more sales, you want to improve your brand image, from a professionalism standpoint. Your customers are signing into or subscribing to your email list, but they're hit with, let's just say, one newsletter per month, and you're concerned about looking unprofessional. I'm going to show you how to fix that in this video here. And last but not least, if you want to nurture your audience so they become repeat customers and they don't forget about you after a while, I'm going to show you how to fix that in this video here. So if any of that resonates with you, you're going to want to stick around and watch this video. If none of that resonated with you, then I'm going to save you some time. You probably want to click away because none of this is going to make sense. All right, so here's how you shortcut the process from 0 to anywhere from 30 to 50K per month from email. Basically, the secret is delegate it to an expert. All right, now I know you might be thinking, okay, I don't know about that. I just want to figure it out myself. I have somebody who's already in charge of all these different mediums. I'll have them figure it out. Wrong. All right. Now, I'm going to show you why here in a second, and why by not delegating it to an expert, that is probably one of the biggest mistakes that you can do. All right. So here's sort of a brief table of contents here. The main two reasons here is the concept of the generalist versus the specialist. Number 2, we go over the cost of delegating versus the cost of just doing it yourself. And then from there, I'm going to show you how to delegate effectively. All right. And these are all pretty, intense topics, but I'm going to try and boil it down in an as digestible sort of format as possible here, because I don't have a whole bunch of time, and frankly, neither do you. All right. So the generalist versus the specialist. All right. The classic truism that the man who chases 2 rabbits catches none. And you've probably experienced this in your life too, where you're thinking, oh, I'll build out the Instagram channel. I'll also build out a YouTube and a LinkedIn and a Twitter. And usually none of those end up really working out for your business. Basically, the main strategy here is that you want to focus on one thing, and you want to focus on doing it well. And also, the odds are is that you might be decent or even good at a few things, but you're probably only going to be truly world-class at one thing if you're world-class at anything at all, right? It's really, really difficult to get to that level, and you're competing against people who literally just focus on one thing all day, all right? And since you can only be an expert in one thing, it makes sense to build a team of experts rather than trying to become an expert at everything yourself. Or, instead of putting one person in charge of everything. All right. And this comes back to the generalist. You might have a generalist consultant who, very common, is in charge of a whole bunch of different, Google ads, Facebook ads, now email marketing, Pinterest ads, whatever. And they usually are, mediocre at all of them. I mean, let's just be honest here. All right, so you don't want to do that. If you currently have a generalist, what you want to do is just stick them in, whatever median that they're performing best at, and then delegate out the rest. All right, and I like this cool little illustration here. It really illustrates what I'm talking about. But this is you if you're taking care of everything currently. You might not be doing that great on Facebook ads. You're probably not doing that great on, Google ads, not that great on email marketing. You might be doing decently, might be profitable on Facebook, but you're probably not, getting stellar results in any of them, right? Unless you're like Elon Musk or something, you're good at everything. But now you might look at brands, who are out there who are doing, $50,000 a month from email marketing. And that might seem very sort of out of reach for you. But really, what it comes down to is those brands have somebody who all they're doing all day is just email marketing. Their expertise compounds on itself. They're on top of all the new developments as far as, new copywriting techniques, all the new design techniques. And that's how they're able to, produce these kind of stellar results, is because they're not focused on all these other mediums. Let me also handle your Facebook ads. No. All right. They're just focused on doing what they do best, which is email marketing. And going into the cost of delegating versus the cost of doing it yourself. So you could do it yourself, very common. People want to learn everything, which is good. But here's sort of what you're looking at if you decide to do that. So you're looking at spending 1 to 2 years gaining proficiency. You have to seek out mentors, invest in courses, watch YouTube videos, read copywriting books, practice writing emails, making designs in Figma, let's just say. And then from there, once you're decent, then you spend several hours each week actually doing the work, writing the emails, setting up the flows, sending out campaigns, split testing and optimizing, all that good stuff. Now, don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with this. This is all great. But, if you're running a business or if you're running a marketing team, then this probably isn't the highest value task that you could be doing. All right. I mean, this is a lot of commitment for something that you could just hire out to somebody, which, diving into it right here, this is basically what it looks like when you want to delegate it to somebody, hiring somebody who's already an expert. This is what it looks like. So you could literally do this in an afternoon. All right. And basically, once you decide who you're going to bring on, from there, you spend 60 minutes onboarding. And once you're onboarded, from there, it's every 2 weeks. So let's say every 4 weeks, you spend 30 minutes checking in on their progress, client calls, etc. And from there, monetarily, you're going to be looking at paying a monthly retainer or performance fee, depending on, the service provider. I myself personally like the performance fee, which I'll get into here in a second, why it's superior and all that. And just a few concepts sort of to back up my argument as to why delegating it is far superior to doing it yourself. And the top skill that you can have as a CEO or a marketing manager, director of marketing, etc., is recruiting the right talent. Right, and if you do this correctly, then it makes up for everything else. You could be complete shit at let's say Facebook ads or marketing or whatever, but if you hire on a person who's world class, straight up marketing ninja, then you pretty much just completely solve the problem better than you could yourself, right? And if you do everything yourself, you can get to, $20,000 a month, $30,000 a month even. I've spoken to some people who run one-person business. They're doing 30 G's a month, which is good, but you're going to be a slave to your business, right? Whereas rather, if you build the right team, you can get to $1 million a month and beyond. And this is how you really scale. You can't really scale past $30,000 a month because you can't really scale your time. You only have 24 hours in a day. You only have so much mental energy and focus. And let me ask you, would you rather make $20,000 a month and keep 100%? Or would you rather make $100,000 a month and keep 70%? And then, it's usually not this extreme. These numbers are just for an example, but the concept is there. All right. So basically, I know a lot of people don't like letting go of, it's going to cut into my profit margins if I bring on a team member. Might as well just do it myself. And, I used to think this way for a long time, but at a certain point, it just makes sense. You're bottlenecked by, your own time and energy, at which point it makes sense to hire somebody to help you sort of grow the business. So if we're looking at it like a pie chart, then you're actually growing the pie. Sure, you might have to give out a few slices to your team members, your partners, but you're going to have a much bigger pie overall for y'all to share versus, this really tiny pie that you got to keep for yourself. All right. And as I said, at a certain point, the only way to grow is to have the self-awareness to know what your strengths are, and then to have the discipline to delegate the rest. And that's really what makes the best CEOs, are the people who know their strengths, and then they just delegate everything that, they're not good at or they don't have expertise at. For example, Steve Jobs, that dude never even designed any of, he wasn't the engineer behind all of the products that he was making. Sure, he had the vision, he hired the right people, but he had his, engineer wizards on it, like Steve Wozniak, et cetera, actually building out the products and sort of bringing his vision to fruition. But if Steve Jobs was responsible for all that, then he wouldn't have done shit. All right. So don't get me wrong. Great CEO, one of the greatest entrepreneurs of all time. But the reason why is because he built a great team. All right. And finally, how to delegate effectively. All right. Now, when you're hiring, you want to ask yourself these 3 most important questions. All right. So number 1, do they have the right track record of results in my specific niche? For example, you might find somebody who, they're good at creating, they're good at email marketing from, let's just say, they worked for an auto company or a local company, a gym even. That's great. But if they don't have, the track record of results in your specific niche, let's say you're an e-commerce store, or even, specifically, let's just say a skincare brand, food brand, etc., then, they're likely not going to be able to directly apply their expertise to your business effectively. There might be a learning curve, but generally that's something that you should look for, is that they have a track record of results in your specific niche. Right now, number 2, do they have the track record of results in the specific median that you want to place them in? And by this, I mean, you don't want to hire somebody who, again, is a generalist, somebody who's quote unquote good at everything, because generally they're not going to be an expert in any one thing. Number 2, you don't want to hire somebody who's an expert in another median. It doesn't make sense to hire on somebody who has a great track record in Google Ads, try to bring him on for email marketing. That just doesn't make sense. It's probably not going to work out. And number 3, does the compensation structure align with our incentives? All right. Now, most agencies out there charge on a monthly revenue or monthly retainer basis, which is fine, but I'm personally not a fan of that, because it incentivizes the agency or service provider to do the bare minimum and then collect a check at the end of the month. It's a very common complaint. So I'm a big fan of the actual performance basis model, where basically you get paid a percentage of the revenue that you bring in. And this aligns the incentives a lot more, just because, they don't make money unless your company's making money. I would definitely shoot for something like that, because if somebody offers that, then they're probably able to deliver pretty solid results. So that's pretty much it, for the content here. Basically, at this point, you should see why it makes complete sense to, hire this out to an expert rather than trying to become an expert yourself. And so if this fit your description, you're doing, let's say, over $20,000 a month, email marketing is a priority to you, then I'd love to hop onto a quick free strategy call where I can see where you guys are at. From there, I can recommend an action plan specifically tailored to your brand. If that sounds interesting to you, click the link in the description below, book a time with me. And so other than that, thanks so much for taking the time to check out this video here, and have a great rest of your day.